Imagine it is a beautiful morning. The birds are chirping outside the window. There's a garden outside blooming with colorful flowers. It's looking like a pleasant day. The sun is beaming and the sky is clear. No one is there on the streets. There is no honking of the vehicles. Suddenly, a boy comes running from the far end of the road. He has a bag in his hand and his head is beaded with sweat. He's running and he needs to catch his breath, but still he doesn't stop. He continues, but he holds the bag tightly to his chest. Were you engrossed in the story? Do you also want to know what happens next? Could you imagine the beautiful day? Could you imagine the boy running on the road? If yes, then you should also learn how to be a great storyteller. Stories have always been an important part of our life. When we were children, we used to hear stories from our grandmothers or teachers at school. Now, as we have grown up, we still listen to stories. How do these gifted storytellers captivate their readers? What separates storytellers from others? What separates stories that are truly compelling from those that are merely good or even bad? So if you can master the art of storytelling, you'll be able to grab the attention of the people. Be it by giving a presentation in front of your boss, your clients, be it selling a product to your customer, or participating in college debates. Learning how to tell better stories can set you apart from the crowd. And in today's video, we will see how you can become a better storyteller. Number one is to share some personal bits. I was never comfortable sharing my personal life on social media. But ever since I have done that, I have been able to connect with all of you. I've been able to connect with myself. I have known myself, where I went deeper and realized a lot of things about myself. Storytellers who make themselves a little vulnerable by sharing a portion of their own lives with the audience are much more likely to connect with them than those who disclose very little. Humans naturally have an interest in the life experiences of other people. We might not be interested to know when a school teacher would share his daily schedule of taking classes, but we would like to know what made the person choose teaching as a career. Maybe his mother was a teacher too. You never know. So share some personal bits from your journey to make the readers more engrossed in your story. Also, don't forget to be authentic. The person telling the story must truly believe it from the bottom of their being. The secret is to transmit the storyteller's genuine energy to the audience. True stories have an impact. Stories that are not true fade away. For instance, whenever I motivate my mentees to practice their communication skills and become better speakers, I always motivate them through my stories. I say to them that, hey, I was not a born speaker. I was a stammerer who has struggled with my speech all my life, but I did not give up. I continue to improve myself, and look at me today. A stammerer who has become an international speaker and a public speaking coach. If I can do it, then you can do it too. Even you can become a great speaker. This is how, by sharing my personal story, I can motivate people to perform to their best abilities. Share it. You have your story. Share it. Also remember to keep your audience in mind. That's the second thing. Keeping your audience in mind. The most crucial piece of advice is to concentrate on and get to know your audience. Good storytellers are aware of the primary motivations behind their audience's attention. Steve Jobs knew how he had to perform in front of tech enthusiasts and Apple fans when he stood in front of a crowd to discuss the new iPod or iPhone. He also knew what works on a conference call with investors is very different from what makes a compelling story for that audience. If you keep your audience, your target audience in mind throughout the entire journey of storytelling, from gathering story ideas to drafting to sharing your fantastic story, you'll improve as a storyteller. Remember this. Remember to include a few surprises. That's my third advice for you, to include a few surprises. The next thing that will help you in telling better stories is throwing in elements of surprise. People love surprise that, hey, oh God, then this happened and then this happened. The journey should not be like this. It should be ups and downs and a lot of surprises. So throw elements of surprise in your stories because an audience member typically has expectations for how a story will develop. And if those expectations are realized, the audience member is likely to lose interest and tune out. An easy and linear path in a story isn't going to keep your audience engaged. Instead, you want your characters to face obstacles and a decent amount of drama. Add twists, add some drama, add some surprises, and you will get the audience's attention back when you get to the surprising part of the story. Just like at the start of this video, I told you a story of a calm day suddenly interrupted by the boy. Remember that? That's the power of storytelling. The fourth thing that you can do is to engage the senses. In any story, visuals are crucial. However, you shouldn't just rely on pictures. Throughout your story, use words to engage all of the senses. This will improve the experience and increase the impact of your presentation. For example, the ringing of the bell could be heard from the distant green hill. Example can be that Pangong Lake was beautiful. It was so calm and serene. You could see all the shades of blue right in front of your eyes. Whether you evoke happiness, you evoke sadness, you evoke surprise, you evoke anger, or any other emotion. Showing these emotions helps to keep the listener attentive. Remember, your story will also come alive if you include emotional elements. Rather than just sticking to the facts and figures, be sure to talk about how you felt and how others felt as a result of the events that took place. They will connect. People will connect with you. The fifth thing that you can do is poke fun at yourself and nobody else. Saying funny things about yourself during a story is a great way to make your listeners comfortable. But don't poke fun at those around you. Don't tell stories that make others feel bad about themselves or have to stick up for themselves. Telling a story that gets a laugh at the expense of someone else shows toughlessness and selfishness. Whereas when you laugh at yourself, you showcase a power that you're not affected by laughing at yourself. And that's amazing. That's really amazing because people often try to avoid that if anyone laughs at them, they are not okay with that. Yes, be okay by laughing at yourself. And one more tip for you: rehearse telling stories. Last but not the least, practicing is the only way to improve at anything. In other words, you need to get in the habit of telling stories after you start gathering them. You can record yourself telling stories on your phone. You'll be able to monitor your progress as well as make necessary changes required in your body language and vocal variety. Record and observe and make the required changes. Not only will it help you develop your cadence, it will also allow you to identify gaps in the narrative and take out the things that are not working. Like when I was giving my TED talk or Josh talks, I did rehearse. I had the script, I rehearsed it, I listen to myself that how I was speaking, and if something was not going well, I used to practice again or used to just replace it with something more meaningful. And that's how I was able to share my voice through those platforms. I mean, it will help you to identify those gaps and you can always improvise. And this will help you improve your storytelling skills and you'll progress towards overcoming all your inhibitions. Remember, using stories to enhance your presentations is a great way to communicate what you want to say. If you really want your presentation, your speech to be memorable, then use stories. We might forget facts and figures, but we always remember story. Ask yourself, remember those movies, you will remember the story of the movie. That's the power of storytelling. I wish you all the best and would love to know from you which has been your favorite story all this while. Maybe from movies, maybe from books. I would love to know in the comment section which has been your favorite story. Till then, stay awesome, stay productive.